Here we go, guys. In today's episode of HearthCraft Season 2, this is the final episode, the World Tour. If you guys are brand new, this is YoMikey238. Welcome. So glad you guys are here. And if you guys do like, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But with that said, I'm going to once again put links to all the other HearthCraft members' YouTube channels down in the description. So be sure to check them out and give support. But as for me, I won't be returning in HearthCraft Season 3. Make sure to check out the latest HearthCraft episode I released because that explains it all a little bit better. But with that said, I get the privilege of telling you guys that there's now a world download for you guys to be able to download this if you want. And I also get the pleasure to tell you guys that HearthCraft is currently looking for some new members. Newt has created an application form that you guys can fill out to get a chance to join the HearthCraft SMP. So be sure to fill that out if that's something that you have an interest in. And with that quick intro done, I'm going to start the world tour over at my base, which was actually never finished. I didn't finish this base only because a lot of things started happening with the MCC, joining the MCCR and all that. That was kind of a big deal. And then also just losing a passion with this base, in all honesty. I explained this in one of my other videos, but I in HearthCraft Season 1, I never really wanted to stop with my one base. I kind of wanted to continue my video game land, so when we turned out we were doing a new season, I kind of lost motivation in this world, although it was turning out cool. My world was based off of World of Goo, and I did quite a bit of building. There are interiors to this build and this build right here, which I'll show real quick. So for this build, we would enter through the top, and this is actually where I ended up sleeping. So if we go through the top of the head of the statue, you can see I had a full-on interior with decked out trees, barrels, stuff like that. It was a very, very pretty sight, and we had the drip leaf thingies. I forget what those are called, not drip leaves, but you know what I mean. It was a pretty cool base. And then there was a second level to this as well. If we flew down, there was a secret entrance where we would land on, I believe it was this slab right here, press this piston, and the door was a little janky because I did the redstone myself, but this was like a brewing station stand, so this was a pretty cool feature. And then in this right here, this guy called the Burning Man, which he actually has two faces. Here's the other side of his face, although this one's a little bit more scary to see. But if we go ahead, there's an entrance right below here on top of this netherrack where we can go on. You'll hear lots of villagers and lots of mobs because this was my villager trading hall that I had set up. Other than that, there was this build right here, which is Little Miss World of Goo, although she's probably the biggest statue in this entire thing. There was this cool nether portal I had along with this weird snake tongue worm thing. I don't know what this was, but it was going to be something cool eventually where we would have a way to actually get down. You'd fall down here and go inside, and this was going to be where I kept all my chests and all my storage and everything. But yeah, this was not all that I built too, by the way. This was just part of my base. I built a lot more in other areas, as we'll see as we progress through this world tour, but this was the basic gist of my base. Now we'll go ahead and we might as well, since we're right by it, fly over to the shopping district. This was just an area where everyone made some shops and sold some merchandise and everything. I wonder if at the very end, this was my shulker box mountain right here. I wonder if I still had profits, which I guess I did. 36 diamonds is pretty good for profits. I must have never checked that. Over here was Karter's Shrek statue where he sold slime if he went up the nose. This was Rale Maximus's ice shop, so sold ice, packed ice, blue ice, all the different types of ice. This was Gugglino's mob killer shop, so he sold lots of different drops and stuff like that. Over here, this was kind of like a bargain deal created by CranioDad, so he'd be selling different stuff at different times for different prices, and they were usually pretty good prices. This is an emerald shop that me and Stemister created for, I think it was called Gerald's Emeralds or something. I think Gerald's even inside the building still right now if we go in here. Yeah, there's Gerald, and so we would sell emeralds in this place. Over there is Stemister's shop, which was this cool aquamarine building where he'd sell like sea lanterns and conduits and that sort of thing. And then there was the head shop, which I don't think was actually a shop. I think it was just a free place where Newt put heads that he gathered. Newt is dumb. And you could get them and collect them for free. Over there's the pumpkin, and that is a build that I did. It was just a competition to see who could survive the longest with a curse of binding pumpkin on their head. And then there's a one-up mushroom house that I did, just selling totems of undying. And then last but not least was Copper Raven's iron shop, which you could see was a really, really pretty iron golem with all the leaves and the moss growing on top of it. She had really, I can't tell you how many times I spent on her iron because she sold a lot for a really good price. But yeah, that was basically our shopping district right there. One service that was provided that was incredibly helpful too was the nether hallways. So because of Newt is dumb, Newt, he actually went ahead and created these insanely, really nicely decorated hallways that connected up everyone's bases together, and it made transportation and travel so much easier. I just wanted to show this because he put a lot of effort into these hallways, and now you guys know how to navigate around when you guys get the world download yourself. That's just the shopping district. But yeah, huge shout out to Newt because I remember these hallways taking him a very, very long time to do, and they go on. They're pretty darn extensive. Over here, I guess we're at PigCart's base. PigCart was my closest neighbor, so we'll go ahead and check out his base. Which PigCart's base? Oh my gosh, he added a lot more lily pads here. PigCart's base was actually just a collection of mini bases. So they were all boats and everything. Each boat would have like a specific purpose. I think this boat was just like his home boat. Over here was his mail boat where you could send him mail, or oh, hello there, guys. Netherite chest plate on that guy. My gosh, he's powerful. But yeah, he had a mail boat. I'm pretty sure this was just his anvil boat, so lots of anvils on there, or a boat on his boat. I guess it was boat too. I don't know exactly what this is, but yes, I believe this was his furnace boat. And over here was a boat that was in progress, I guess. I don't really know. It's been a while since I've been over at PigCart's base, but I loved how it was just the boats, and he had one, and I think this was initially called the boat, where he put boats inside the boat, and then you would just sit in a boat inside the boat. And this was just like a submarine, a little yellow submarine, the HMS Stemister. But yeah, as far as I know, this was about all of PigCart's base, and instead of going through the portal highway system, we'll just fly on over here and see that this is Black Panda's base right here, and you can tell it's a mixture of Black Panda and Rocker Bucks as well. A massive pirate ship at Black Panda's base with this insane mansion. He did lots of forest and lots of cool towers and everything. This was the creeper farm right here that he had. I'm sure that if you sit here long enough, you'd see some creepers come on down. Like there's a skelly, and there's a creeper right there, and they would just fall down. This was I may or may not have borrowed some gunpowder every once in a while. But yeah, the design for this was super pretty, and just the whole forest, the lushness of everything, it was just all very, very pretty. The dead tree in the forest, this big tower. I forget exactly what the tower did. But over here, since we're over in this area, we might as well go also see Rocker Buck's area, because Rocker Buck and Black Panda were neighbors. Yeah, and Rocker Buck had a really amazing base going for him. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to play as much because of health issues and stuff like that, but he still got a ridiculous amount of stuff done, like with these very steampunk, I want to say, inspired builds, the towers and the dangling pieces, you know, the chains with the lanterns and everything, the cool dock, all these random cats named Dinnerbone. This is a cool place, a little shack for all the bees. These builds were turning out insane. There was an aquarium on top and everything too. He was putting a lot of work into this. It's a shame that a lot of us didn't get to finish our bases, or that stuff came up, but you know, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. But this was about all of Rocker Buck's base. Over here was Gugglino, and Gugglino's base was pretty great as well. He had this house, which more than once, this house was completely full of chickens and pigs and stuff because of me and the other HearthCraft members. It wasn't just me. But yeah, it had a nice cozy little interior, some plants, some little rooms and everything. We had a water vader all the way up to the top over here. If I can go through, with his nice bed. There was always this hole in the wall, and this is how I would always get out of his house, because I didn't know how to get, I guess there was this trapdoor here I just never saw. But yeah, this was his house. Over here was a contraption that got goo heads and stuff stuck on my head at one point. I don't remember exactly what this was, but this over here was just like a pig farm for when Guggle hit 1,000 subscribers. Copper Raven breeded up a ridiculous amount of pigs, and a lot of them are gone. A lot of them are completely gone. But this was his little pig shack for all those piggies. And then over there were some mega farms of his, sugarcane farm and mob farms, getting lots of drops and everything like that. I'm guessing this is how he filled, it would make sense that this was how he filled his one shop. And man, the sugarcane, man, you need to mow your sugarcane, Guggle. This was a lot of sugarcane all around. But that was Guggle, Rocker Buck, and Panda. And Panda has another base we'll eventually go to, but this was all their initial bases in this initial area. And another neighbor of Black Panda's was actually Stemister, which we're flying on over to him right now. This was Stemister's docking area, which I never saw the ship before. The ship looks absolutely amazing with the flag drawn and everything, or I guess the mast drawn. This was his docking area. He was going for more of a Japanese kind of build style. So this was his initial house over here. That this is where Flaggy the sheep used to be. He used to be sitting on that campfire right there. But this was Stemister's base. It had a nice cozy interior with lots of darker textures to give you that kind of warm feeling in the home. Stemister's ender chest. Yeah, oh, cool. So Stemister also had his ender chest and stuff put down before the world seed. That's awesome to see. But yeah, he also had an attic, and this was just, you know, enchanting table, some armor and stuff like that. And it was a very nice and cozy place. I like it. But other than that, he did have plans to build an entire Japanese village, but wasn't able to. Again, a lot of us had a lot of unfinished projects, but I guess that's kind of nice because you can go around, you can just kind of explore and understand what the ideas were. He had this yin-yang lake with a beautiful waterfall dripping down. These insane floating islands that never got finished, but a lot of work was put into them. I mean, you can tell just by looking at them, they were turning out so cool. Over there is actually a build tutorial of mine. I designed this for Stemister so that he could put in his base, and it was a nice little Japanese house. It was designed by Yo Mikester, of course. That's definitely me. But yeah, it's got a really good cozy interior, and it looks like there's a place where you can actually drop down and everything too, and go down. What's down here? I think this was initially going to be a large library of Stemisters, and I don't think he got around to actually doing it in like a big chest sorting place, but it was definitely a really cool build, and I absolutely love how he made this interior completely his own. That was a cool touch. Ooh, the amethyst. Even the amethyst looks so cool, and the armor stands for the table. I like it. The design was very nice. Over here was a massive, I think it's called a pagoda of Stemisters, and I think this was serving as a creeper farm, but the thing was massive. I would have been impressed if he managed to finish it, because this thing was just such a monumental and massive size, but it turned out great. And you can see there were some more designs eventually for other houses and stuff he was going to build, but he didn't get around to that, which is totally okay. But yeah, there's still a lot more to explore, and for you guys with the World Sea download that you guys can get, you can explore this a lot more thoroughly if you'd like to find out other cool secrets and other cool little builds that I might not go over. And that's only because of the amount of time that I have and that I'm able to do on this tour, but that's okay. Now over here, this was actually going to be the start of Rale Maximus's new base, which the unfortunate thing about this was that this started towards the busier side of the year for Rale, and he actually didn't get to he didn't get to go around and finish his base. It was going to be like a ultra base, but in a super small way. I forget exactly how he described it. It was going to be really cool, but again, things just got busy, and this was just the start of it. I could have only imagined how amazing it would have been, though, with his pyramids that he made as well, which I can't actually figure out how to get back to those pyramids, but maybe you guys will be able to. I looked around for them for a bit and I couldn't find them, but maybe you guys could explore a bit more and find it, because he had some really amazing pyramids that he had stationed around the world. Alright, but then I know exactly whose base this is, because oh my gosh, this was a prank I absolutely love. This is Karter's Tangled Tower, and right here I've written down the entire song from Tangled. I don't know exactly what it's called. I think it's I Have a Dream, but this was Karter's base. And if we go on the outside and actually fly up and around, you'll be able to tell, and you'll be able to see exactly what I mean when I say this was the Tangled Tower that Karter was living in. He had an idea for an absolute mega base, but life got once again busy and he wasn't able to actually finish it. That, combined with the amount of deep slate he was using, he was a little bit crazy. But this was his cool base. I love the Tangled Tower so much, and there's a fun interior to it. Lots of memories around this area. Even that book on the stone and everything. There's so many little things that happened over here, which just made it fun. This was his starter shack, and this was also the place where well, let's just say some horses traumatized Karter a little bit in this place. Yeah, rest in peace, horsies. I'm sorry. But this was Karter's base. He had the little shack, and he had the bigger plans for a bigger base, but again, just unfortunately never got around to it. Oh, and I totally forgot. He had a total slime farm over here as well. I guess I can show he did put a lot of time into industrial districts too, which we'll show in just a bit. All right, but then another area to note as well was actually Black Panda's event area. And this was a really cool kind of Hunger Games styled game where people would go around, they would get random item supplies from these villager statues over here. We actually did an event where we all fought and everything. It was so much fun, especially because I won quite a few times. But it was a fun and terrifying game too, because it was all random luck as to what kind of props you would get, how well you would do. You would find these tunnels, these secret paths and everything, and it was cool. You would never know when you would see a wild PigCart or a wild Jane or Panda running at me with a sword while I had like a spoon to save my life. It was kind of terrifying, and lots of deaths happened. There's our heads all scattered around, but this was definitely a cool area as well. Make sure to explore this one, because this one was very well made. And at this point, while I'm still flying around, I would also like to apologize, just because I do think this video might be a tiny bit jumpy. I wish there was more areas and places I could cover, but the world's just so big, I can't cover every single little detail, unfortunately. But I will do my best to cover the majority of people's bases and everything, so I just want to say that right now. That it's up to you guys to explore and find the nitty-gritty, all the small, fun little perks and details. Alright, but here's what I was talking about earlier when I said that I did some building some other places as well, because this was actually the HearthCraft Olympics Island. And this was where we had a massive event, massive gaming event lots and lots and lots of work went into this area. This was Jane's course over here. Here was CranioDad's course, which was a bow and arrow archery kind of course. Stemister Stadium, which had a couple games involved in it. And then PigCart built an entire city for his course, which was crazy. This was where PigCart did a lot of his work with this boat race. That was an absolute blast to do. We had Black Panda's dodgeball stadium where you would shoot fireworks and try to not get shot and avoid like a ninja, which I did horribly. We had Newt's huge Connect 4 structures, which this game went on forever but was a total blast. I will say, quick note too, by the way, if you guys want to see all these builds that I'm covering and everything, there's our videos, all the other HearthCraft members videos, and we also have videos over the HearthCraft Olympics and stuff like that you guys can always go back and check out. But then this is where I put a ridiculous amount of work and effort into, was my stadium, which I can't tell you guys how many hours it took me to build this thing, and this was actually Pizza Boss's original design, and I just tweaked it and just added a little bit more detail to it and made some custom modifications. Once again, I specify in the video where I actually built this what kind of tweaks and stuff I did. But this was also doubling as a shop as well, because I didn't want to misuse the space underneath. So over here I had lots of shops that me and Stem were constantly working on together to build and supply and everything. The HearthCraft Olympics was such an awesome area, and the event when it actually took place was some of the most fun I've ever had on the HearthCraft server. This was an absolute blast. But flying forwards, I saw some smoke in the distance and realized that we're pretty close to CranioDad's base, which this incredible base started off as actually a steampunk ship with all the smoke pumping feel. We got the you know, the railings and the lanterns, all the cool interior decorations of the rooms that would be typically stored on a steamboat like house, I guess. Lots of storage in here and everything like that. He created his own little custom village, which was so cool. Just kind of transformed the village that was initially in the swamplands and made it his own. If we fly up though, the most impressive feat that he had was his skull, which was in dedication to his daughter. And this was an incredible story that I highly recommend you guys check out. There are signs and uh-oh, my elytra. That's not good. Not while I'm doing this. Oh no, I've been flying a lot. Oh no. This is not good. All right, but as I was saying, excuse me, this was such an awesome structure, and Cranio has information about exactly what this kind of disease entails and everything, and I highly recommend you guys come here, do a little bit of learning about it. It was cool to hear about, and the structure itself was absolutely incredible and beautiful. There was more stuff over here. This was like a storage system of his that he had built up, and he had some you know little farms and everything to help him keep going through the series. Look at this man. This man is the most organized man on this planet. This could never be me. Never. But yeah, the story behind this is so cool, and I highly recommend you guys check out CranioDad's channel for this. But moving swiftly on was a site that many people probably didn't actually see, and this was Karter. Oh, I'm gonna have to show you guys our mine and Stem's industrial district too. But this was Karter's industrial district with just massive furnace arrays and an absolutely insane chicken farm over here. There were tons of chickens. I don't know what happened to all the chickens. I think they might have died, but he had a ridiculous amount of eggs. Above us was a creeper farm as well, I believe is what it was. Yeah, I can't really see any creepers coming down right now, but it was a working thing. I'm pretty sure it still is working, and I just had to sit around and wait, but I'm too lazy to do that. Behind this building array right here was actually a sugarcane farm of his, which it looks like some of the sugarcane might have been raided, or maybe he just never finished. But this was a pretty functional and pretty massive sugarcane farm for Karter. There was a lot more than meets the eye to this man, to this Karter, and the farms and stuff that he built was pretty incredible. The amount of, oh my gosh, the amount of villagers that he had, that was ridiculous. It was a very pretty industrial district, a lot prettier than mine and Stem's, which we'll get to a little bit later, but right now we're gonna go to Copper and Jane's base. All right, but here was Copper and Jane's base, and this was actually after the destruction, I'm guessing after a meteorite struck down and completely destroyed and demolished this place. It looks absolutely incredible though, I love it. I don't know exactly what the story was to here. You'll have to go over to Copper's channel and check it out and try to figure out exactly what was going on. I know she initially had this insane dome idea that the magnitude, the size of this dome was going to be just something on another level. But then there was also updates and moving to do new in 1.18 cave terrain and stuff like that. And so that ended up happening, and she ended up moving to a new location, which I'll show in a bit. But we had these nice little villager setups and everything. Villagers wandering around, places to trade and everything. We had some bases full of chests and lots of little builds, lots of little farms that were cute and functional at the same time. I'm on fire. It looks like this man caught on fire too. This base is not for not for the unsafe people. But yeah, she had an awesome desert base going on, and I know Jane helped a lot with this as well. The two of them combined created some pretty darn cool looking structures. There was also a laboratory that me and Karter pranked at one point right over here. Looks like the asteroid just managed to hit it as well, but oh, excuse me for that little bit of a lag spike right there. Oh my gosh, it's lagging quite a bit over here in this area. But this was just a cool scientific laboratory of coppers and Janes. I don't know why I'm getting those random lag spikes. It seems fine now, but that was really weird. But yeah, the interior for this was super pretty and nice. Oh my gosh, there's going again. It was a cool base, and I still feel bad about pranking it, but the pranks had to be done. The video was just too good. Oh, you're looking at my helmet. All right, but jumping around as usual, if you want to go this way, by the way, once you get in the nether, there's a room right by my portal that you can go down a staircase, and this is how you get to the industrial districts. I thought I would just clarify that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys mine and Stemister's industrial district, because we put a ridiculous amount of effort into this area. My gosh, it's gonna be a little bit frame ratey and a little bit laggy. That's to be noted, but that's because this was mine and Stemister's industrial district area, which doesn't look like much, but each of these glass pillar things that I'm walking on, each one of these had farms that went all the way down to bedrock. Of course, this was before the 1.18 cave update, but we had mega insane farms. We had this, which was a potato and carrot farm. This was our pumpkin and melon farm. Which, just to show you guys how insane this was, if we were to climb up this ladder, all of these chests were, I'm pretty darn sure, full to the very max. And you can see how high up this goes. Other than that, me and Stem also made a cactus farm, which I think Stem did by himself. I can't remember doing that one, but we did the sheep farm together as well, which was absolutely insane. But yeah, it was a super cool place, and I'd show you a bit more, but I might have died again from kinetic energy, so you guys will get to explore it yourself. I goofed up, and I've been dying a lot this this video. All right, but this next base was probably one of the most absolutely insane. My frames are totally gonna die over here because Newt put a ridiculous amount of effort into his base. There's lots of buildings, a lot of it is interior, but there is a lot of exterior to it as well, like this dirt hut over here, which I don't think I've actually seen or toured myself yet, but this is a pretty darn cool little dirt castle that he has put up. Lots of sheep, lots of events that were placed over here, lots of areas for events. This was the fishing event that happened multiple times. Newt's whole base is right up there, which is absolutely insane. Again, frames are gonna die a little bit going in here. I mean, they really are struggling a little bit, but his entire base became this overgrown mess with lots and lots of leaves everywhere, lots of broken down parts and cool secret hideaways and everything like that. This will be such a blast for you guys to explore. I'm so ready for you guys to see this. Look, everything got converted. Public access restricted. Well, you guys will just have to find your way in and see what's on the other side. But yeah, I can remember visiting this base quite often too, because Newt was the seller of all the enchanted books, and my gosh, he made a killing off of all those books and all of us HearthCraft members. Over here was a little fishing area event, which I don't know why. This also became the advent area too. But I don't know why. This was just kind of the one place that we often met up. This is a ship of mine that I actually had built as well that I gifted over to Newt. And my goodness, I apologize for the frames just dropping. Newt's area is just so beefy and insane that it kills my computer. But yeah, this was a ship that I gifted over to Newt. I sold it to him. This was my original kind of starter base that I lived in for a very long time. And then this was just the Hearth Camp area. So each of us had our own little tents. I think this tent was mine because it was a purple one. My color was just kind of purple. Everyone knew that. Over here is another area that we had. This is actually a place where I also helped contribute in building. This was during Halloween. We wanted a bit of a Halloween district, so a spooky feel to it. And I went ahead and I built this cathedral that we went ahead and stuck in the land. There was a lot more building that also happened though. This was my design right here. And then Copper Raven actually built a mansion that I designed a while back. She built this and changed the palette of the blocks a little bit using crimson instead of the warped wood that I had initially used. But then there was lots and lots of forest created and done as well to add to the spooky atmosphere, everything. Here was Black Panda's cathedral. dojo that he built as well, which I never noticed the addition of the skeleton horses, but I like them. They are pretty cool. And here was a spooky church that we're just not gonna talk about. There was more to this area than meets the eye too, like this bloody, that magma block. This bloody, I guess this was like a lake or something that, it was all supposed to be just spooky, dead trees and everything like that. And I think we all did a pretty good job building this area. Though all I did was build my cathedral, the other HearthCraft members added a lot more. But yeah, this area combined with Newt's, and Newt did so much more stuff too, building these epic bridges, his entire museum that you guys should check out, and this area as well, where there was a lot more that went on. You guys will have an absolute blast exploring this area. But then the next base we had was actually one of our absolute newest members, and that was Joey Capollo. Which Joey Capollo I met during the MCCR. He was kind of like the Blue Bats coach, and he joined a little bit later on in the season, but he still made these absolutely incredible base with lots of farms. I don't know exactly what it was going to be. It was turning out to be a really cool structure. It almost looked like it was going to be a statue, but whatever it was, it turned out really cool. Even though he didn't have nearly as much time as me and all the other HearthCraft members to make a base, he definitely got started and it was definitely looking insane. It was so cool having Joey Capollo on. It was such a blast. Lots of new people we got to meet because of MCCR. All right, but then I think that's all of the HearthCraft members bases. I think the next part that we're supposed to explore was the new area that happened after 1.18 came as a new kind of update. We ended up moving outside of this block corridor that we had. Oh my gosh, that is a ghast dangling his little feet right in this point. That's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we moved out of the corridor, at least some of us did, to kind of explore and see the new generation, have some bases revolving around that. This was Black Panda's new base that he started, and I don't think he actually ended up finishing this one, but he did put a lot of progress into it. Had these cool walls and nice little snowy little places, the campfires and everything. It was turning out to be a really, really pretty place. There were some bedrooms, portals, whatnot, and I liked it. It felt very, very cozy, this area. It was very nice. All right, but the main new area, the new spawn that everyone went to was actually down these hallways, down this direction. So we'll fly over to that now. And this was where the portal took us in the 1.18 update, to this absolutely insane and massive mountain. With all the dripstones hanging out and everything, this was such a cool place. And all the little buildings and everything that popped up over here was insane. Now, I couldn't tell you exactly whose base was whose, although a lot of I think it was more like Copper and Jane, Panda and Newt and those HearthCraft members that kind of colonized this area. PigCart as well, you can see his head looming in the background right over there. But this was a really cool area in the 1.18 terrain. Lots of pretty little houses, a forest over there, and lots of flowers, courtyards, that kind of thing. There was nice bridges that connected areas and territories, and there's probably a lot more to this area that I just didn't get to see. But again, that's the perfect reason that you should check out the other HearthCraft members videos, because hopefully they'll have some videos displaying and showcasing this area, this beautiful area. Yeah, it looked like some massive terraining was in the process over here too. That's cool. But another one of the biggest features was actually Newt's Tavern, and this was something that he worked on for quite a while. Inside, this was Newt's Cavern, which was kind of like a little bar scene that he had made. It was really, really nicely and prettily decorative. Prettily is even a word. Over here there were beds and books, and all the drinks were kind of like jokes, like Death Coffee. That was purely a joke and everything. But it was such a cool area to walk around and look at and see. And the interior decorations were so solid, and I love all the armor stands displayed around this area. They were all really, really cool. This was the casino that unfortunately I never actually got to come around and play, but you guys will be able to. If you want to play, there will probably be some coins that you can get, some of the casino coins, and you guys can play these games yourself, which is absolutely awesome. I know Newt put a ridiculous amount of effort into this, so you should totally definitely come on over here and play a little bit of the games that he had set up. And then there was also the members club, which you had to have private access to. I was never allowed in here because I didn't have that private access. But it was a pretty cool and pretty chill little area to hang out and watch an aquarium and a panda, I guess. Yeah, Newt put a lot of work into the server. He was always on here and he was always doing such a good job. Newt did such an amazing job with the server. Which kind of actually perfectly segues into the very ending of this video. So I hope that there are some areas that I didn't miss out on. I believe I covered the majority of everything that's been in this world. But I just want to say one more time that HearthCraft, the crew, is still going on with Season 3, and it's going to actually be run by Newt. Newt's going to be kind of like, I guess, the administrator, or the, as everyone used to call me, the boss man. So I want you guys to make sure to check out the other HearthCraft members, subscribe and like to their channels so that you can continue to see the HearthCraft content. I might even make a guest appearances, you never know. But yeah, it's been a fun season this season. I again just want to really thank all the HearthCraft members for such an incredible season, and it was loads of fun. I can't wait to see what you guys do with season number 3. But with that said, this world is for you guys to explore and see as you want. So make sure to do that and check it out. It'll be fun. It'll be an absolutely blast to check out all these creations and just check out everyone's bases. I hope you guys enjoyed HearthCraft season 2, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, guys, and hopefully one day we come back to this land, to these people, these friends that we've made along this journey. All right, guys, see you in the next video, and ciao.